Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's your boy Big R Plays. We're back in the YouTube studio today, the gaming room, the man cave. And it's been a while since we've done a little update video on the gaming room. So without further ado, let's do this. So before we get into the next part of the video, I guess what I'd advise you, if you haven't already, go and check out my channel on YouTube and watch part 1, and the video is playing here in the background, part 2, and you'll see how we got to where the gaming room is now, how we got to this point, and it'll make sense a bit more for what we're going to do next. But in part 2, what we did was we finished our IKEA Kallax unit. We put in all our nerdy items, our Funko Pops, our Pokemon up there. We put up a couple of pictures on the wall, our anime stuff. And we finished off the shelf above our setup with some Sidemen merch as well. And that pretty much leads us to what we've got to do next. Cable management.
Warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences.
As you can see, there's cables everywhere. I mean, there's a cable literally right behind my head as I'm talking about this. What we're actually talking about is the gaming setup behind me. It's pretty much an all-white setup. The room's all white. It's pretty clean and minimalistic, honestly. And that might change if we start adding more items and different things. But at the minute, it's pretty clean. The only thing that's sort of spoiling the aesthetic is all the cables running everywhere. And that's just not okay. We've got to change that. And that's what we're doing today.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, it's not really what I want to do. I've put this off for months now since I've been in my new house and since I've set up the gaming room, because I know it's going to be a lot of work. I know it's going to be fiddly. I know I'm going to get all hot and sweaty and annoyed with myself as I'm doing it.
Why you have to be mad?
And I know that whatever way I do it, it's not going to be right the first, second, maybe even third time, and it's going to take a little bit of patience and a little bit of problem solving. But we're off school for 2 weeks. We've got to be productive with our time, we've got to use our time wisely, and this is the next step in the gaming setup. The other reason why we want the cable sorted out today is that what we're planning to do this week is going to buy a second monitor.
You're joking. Not another one?
That's right, you heard me correctly. We've got a 49-inch ultra-wide monitor from Samsung, and as if that wasn't big enough, and as if that wasn't enough real estate for our screen, we're going to buy a second monitor, and we're going to stack it above the Samsung ultra-wide. So the setup as you see now is probably going to change slightly. Obviously the camera can't stay there. Probably the key lights from Elgato are going to move. The speakers we're eventually going to move and sort them out because I don't actually really want them on the desk, or at least not in their position at the minute. As you can see, you can't even see one of the speakers because it's behind the screen. That's not great for optimal sound quality either. So the setup at the minute is going to change, but where the second monitor is going to go is up here. It's not as wide as the ultra wide, obviously, at 49 inches. So the 32-inch monitor is what we're going to go for from Samsung, and it's going to go up here. We've got a monitor arm from Amazon arriving today. We obviously had to go for a very tall one because there's going to be a computer monitor down below. So the one that we've ordered is pretty high. It's also white, so it should fit in with the setup's aesthetics. Although, to be honest, you're probably not going to see too much of the arm because it's going to be hidden behind 2 monitors at that point. So before I add that second monitor into the setup and start worrying about all the cables that that's going to bring, I want to sort out the cables that I've already got. And as I said, it's probably not going to be even all of the cables today. We're going to have to do it in stages because some of the items on the desk, some of those components are going to move, like the speakers, like the microphone, like the camera. So there's no point really managing their cables too specifically today, as they'll probably will move once we put in the second monitor. But we're going to focus on the cables that aren't going to move. For example, the RGB strip around the wall panels, potentially some of the power bricks we need to sort out and put them in different places because I don't really want them sitting just under the desk on the Alex units. It's not a good place, it doesn't look good. So we're going to try and manage them. And then obviously the Samsung ultra wide that we've got for our primary monitor, we've got the cables to manage from it and to sort that out. So we're going to try and clean up a little bit today and see how far we get.
Okay, let's go.
So the first thing I wanted to do was to clean up the power bricks that were sitting on top of the Alex units underneath the desk. I thought that it would be a better idea to actually attach the power bricks to the back of the Alex units where they were hidden and you couldn't see them. To do this, I used command strips from Homebase in the UK. They're just Velcro strips that come in pairs. You attach one to the thing that you want to stick, and you attach one to the surface that you want to stick it on. They're pretty strong, and I knew they were going to be reliable as I'd used them to hang up posters before. So between the command strips, some cable ties, and even some electrical tape, I managed to hide the power brick and tidy away the cables that were running down the left hand side of my desk. As you can see, it's pretty messy in behind the Alex unit, but from the front, it looks pretty perfect. One job done. So we've got a little bit of double-sided Velcro tape, and what we're going to do, obviously you can see that this power bank runs down, and because this power brick's so large for the monitor, we kind of have to leave it sitting there. There's not a lot of distance with this cable, and then this cable, you can barely actually see it. I've pushed it down underneath nearly the skirting board, just between the carpet, so it's already cable managed nearly. And I think we're going to get like a white raceway, which will go down the wall. I need to order them probably off Amazon, and then that'll cover that big ugly black cable that's sort of sticking out. We'll maybe need to try and find something for this as well, because obviously that sticks out as well against the wall, which we don't want. Then we've got the HDMI DisplayPort cable that's running from our monitor all the way up into our PC. But we need to try and work out how to manage that, and pretty much, I don't know if it's the best suggestion, but a simple one is to use this double-sided Velcro. And what you can see is we've put a little bit there, we've got a little bit there, we'll probably put another one over here somewhere, and then the other part of the Velcro, we're actually just going to run along the back side of the desk and just stick it to that, and hopefully that'll keep it nice and tight and flush, and it'll run into the PC. Any extra cable, what we'll do is we'll roll it up and put it at the back of the PC, where there's a little bit of space for that, for extra cables. There's actually building work going on at the minute. As you can see, I think they're going to start putting some houses in behind my house, which is a bit grim because actually I quite like having nobody behind me, but I think inevitably there's going to be another area of houses going in. So apologies if you can hear a little bit of construction work going on as I'm talking through the video. There's nothing much I can do about that. You might be thinking, well, why don't you use one of the trays? Because a lot of people would use like a cable tray that goes along the back of their desk. And yeah, honestly, that was an option and might still be an option. Just depends how I get on with this today. But I quite like the idea of when you come down, there being absolutely nothing along the back of the desk. It's just completely clean. And obviously if there is a tray with cables and power bricks and stuff, you can see that and it sits there. And honestly, it's just personal preference. I think that looks a little bit ugly, a little bit messy. But I know it manages the cable in an easy, cheap way. But I just went for something different today. I'm just playing about with it. And yeah, I'll maybe have to go back to that because I know it's tried and tested method that a lot of people use. But personally, I just don't like it. So I'm going to try and hide all the cables so it's completely clean and completely invisible nearly.
2 seconds later.
Do you know what? That looks really clean. Really happy with how that turned out. Obviously, you can't see it on top, you can't see it on bottom. But if we go back there she is just running along with double-sided Velcro tape. Alright, I think this is where we leave it for today, honestly. I mean, I know there's a big mad cable sitting here on the desk, but that's actually our DisplayPort cable, which is going to go into the second monitor. We obviously can't do anything with that until we get the second monitor. We've ordered it, we just need to pick it up tomorrow. So, with that being said, we'll wait. We'll hold off into the second monitor and the speakers tomorrow. And obviously we'll need to put the monitor on a monitor arm, which we'll have to set up. That's actually arrived. We've already set it up pretty much. We just need to actually attach it to the desk and then put the monitor onto it. To be honest, could be kind of a tricky job for one person. Always good to have a second person for building a setup, but we're just going to have to try and battle through. You can see the cameras over there and then our speakers, but we're holding off doing all that until we get the monitor set up. So yeah, I guess with that being said, that's us for today. Time to go and play some games and watch YouTube, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
The next day.
Alright, just picked up the second monitor. Yeah, boy. Time to get inside, get it set up. It's absolutely pouring today. Absolutely stinking day. I'm off school for 2 weeks, and so far every single day has been pouring with rain, which is exactly why you need an epic gaming setup, because why would you go outside when the weather's like this? Alright, we're back in the gaming room where we go. Samsung 32 inches. Here we go. Time to get this on the underarm, on the desk, and then we are complete. Boys, we have encountered a problem because that is the power cable and there's absolutely no way that that is long enough for the monitor to be going up there and the power cable to be stretched, not even stretched diagonally across to down here where the plug socket is behind the Alex unit, but obviously we want to run it nice and neatly so you can't see it. So it'll be going down, across and down, and there's absolutely no way that that thing's going to stretch. So we're going to have to buy a longer power cable on Amazon, which kind of sucks because it means we're not going to be able to use our monitor until at least tomorrow. And that's how we're going to mount it. We're going to actually mount it upside down. The reason for mounting it upside down, well, you'll see. You'll see what I mean when I put it on. So the plastic outskirt of the monitor is called a bezel, and the bottom bezel of the monitor is usually thicker than the top. So when you're stacking your monitors, it's a really good idea to actually turn the top monitor upside down. This means the thicker bezel is towards the top, and the thinner bezel is in the middle where the two monitors meet, giving you a more seamless transition between one screen and the other, which is definitely more noticeable when you turn it on and you have a wallpaper that maybe goes across both monitors.
Early the next morning.
Okay, it's a new day and a new dawn, and the things that we're waiting for to arrive from Amazon have finally arrived. Cable raceways, cable tidy box, longer power cable, all those things are now here, so let's get on with the setup. So as you can see, we've got the cable tidy box, which is hiding, if we open it up, it's hiding this big ugly power box hub thing that really you couldn't do anything with it because of the length of the cables. It was kind of stuck here in the middle of the floor. So we've covered it up with a little cable box, which again is quite big and bulky, but it's white, it fits in with the aesthetic. It's much cleaner than the power cable sitting there, honestly. To be honest, when we're sitting back and chilling, playing some RPGs, we've got our footstool there, so it's going to be covered anyway, but we just wanted to go the extra mile and do it properly. Next, we're going to sort out this ugly cable that's running down here, or cables that are running down here. We're actually going to have another one for the second monitor's power cable that's going to run down behind and also come out here. We're just going to run it down and across probably, rather than go down, across, down. I think there's not as much room on this back side of the table because we've been wiring cables across it. So we're going to come down here with the rest of them and maybe along the floor instead. And as you can see, to cover those cables, we've got our cable raceways. I went ahead and got the 2 1 meter package from Amazon because it was barely more expensive than the 1 meter one. And then with some of the other cable raceways that we've got left over, we might, cover that one, which kind of looks a little bit messy. And again, we can use it down here. And we can use it over this side of the desk as well to route those cables. So always go for extra, and then that way you don't have to wait to buy some more when you need them. As you can see, we've chopped up one to about 60 centimeters length, and that's going to fit in there to cover those cables perfectly. So that is the next task on the agenda.
A few moments later.
And there we go. Cables are routed through the cable raceway, which is attached to the wall, down and into the cable box to keep everything tidy. It's absolutely amazing. It just looks so much better already. Very clean and minimalistic, and fits in again with the white aesthetic. So setup is really coming on. Again, can you spot any cables here? Not really, to be honest. Okay, there's some cables that run back there, but there's not much we can do about those ones. To be honest, I'm really happy with how the setup's turned out. So you might be thinking, well, the setup looks pretty good. What is there left to do? And you'd be right in thinking that, but there's actually plenty left to do in our gaming setup. I mean, you can see behind me, big white space. You can see here, massive white space. And you can see here above the Funko Pops, massive white space again. So there's lots of real estate in the walls of our gaming room, and that's what we're going to be doing next. It's just decoration at this point. We've got all the main things that we want. We just need some decor, some more RGB lighting, some more posters with nerdy stuff on them, and then pretty much our gaming setup will be complete. So there will be at least another part, so don't go anywhere. Make sure that you've liked, make sure you've subscribed to the channel, and the bell's on for notifications so you don't miss our next gaming room setup tour. And if you're someone that's been a member of the channel and have subscribed for quite a while now, as I know that many of you have, thank you so much. Your support's always appreciated. Thanks for taking the time to watch my videos and to listen to me ramble about rubbish. I do appreciate it, and I know I'm always saying, you know, like and subscribe to new people, but for all the old guard and all the OG subscribers, thank you very much. Much love to you guys. And we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.